So I did a video a little over a week ago, I should say, when it was revealed, pretty much to nobody's surprise, actually, that Will Ospreay was the major signing for All Elite Wrestling. And I did a video saying that basically that Triple H now, because he wanted Will, we know that, is going to do everything in his power to get Sasha, Mercedes Mone, and Trinity, aka Naomi, back in WWE. And in fact, the video, I think I have it up here with me. Let me find it. I think yeah, here it is. It says, why Mercedes, Monet, and even Trinity may be back in WWE because of AEW signing of Will Ospreay. And so far since then, in the past week, it's gotten about nearly 500 views, and I thank you guys for that. But I said I said in that video that Triple H is gonna want to stick it to Tony Khan. He's going to want to basically one up Tony Khan because again, he wanted Will Ospreay. He wanted Will Ospreay. Whether or not he would have given him a similar offer that Tony Khan did is another story. But he wanted him. He wanted him, and there was no doubt in my mind that there were talks going on very strongly. No matter what other people say. But I said that he's going to want to top him. And one way to top him is to basically, sign, bring back and sign, Mercedes and Naomi. That's what I said. In fact, let me bring up the description here so I can read it myself. I said in the description, because if you think Triple H will want to be upstaged by Tony Khan's signing of a Will Ospreay, think again. And if the Punk, let me see if I can find it. Hold on, let me try something differently. Let me get over here. Yeah, okay. Let me reread that, and I quote: because if you think Triple H will want to be upstaged by Tony Khan's signing of Will Ospreay, think again. And if the Punk possibility was something Triple H wants to do, to stick it to Tony Khan, getting Mercedes and even Trinity back in the fold would be huge. And let's be honest, we all know from the reports that CM Punk was a strong advocate for what Mercedes and Trinity did last year, or a little over a year ago, walking out on WWE. Putting the women's tag team titles and placing them on the desk of John Laurinaitis, if you will, before he was released because of the circumstances we found out about. So to me, when I see CM Punk coming back, this further proves to me, now I could be wrong, but this further proves to me that, Triple H, if he can get CM Punk, if Triple H, Nick Khan, and by extension Ari Emanuel, and I'm sure Ari was, the one that signed off on it before Nick Khan, signed off on it and such, because again, Nick Khan had to tell him about it. If Triple H, Nick Khan can get CM Punk to come back under a multi-year deal for whatever, they're going to pay him, for whatever they're going to give him, and he's going to give in return and so on, you cannot tell me that's not probably the biggest sign, the biggest signal, if you will, to the likes of a Mercedes Moné, aka Sasha Banks, or the biggest sign to a Trinity Fatu, aka Naomi, to basically tell them, hey, things are different now. The old man isn't running anything anymore. He doesn't have any more power. Triple H is running things. Nick Khan's running things. Ari Emanuel, who's a now guy, as I've said many times before, is running things. So you can guys, if you guys want, you can come back. We'll let you be the way you want to be. And go from there. And that's basically what a lot of people said that CM Punk was fighting for. When he, before he left, he wanted a WWE where basically they weren't being told what to do, so much, by people. They weren't being constantly, pulled this way and that. They had one focal direction to go in. And to me, CM Punk, coming back the way he did, like I said, that's a huge signal. That's a huge green light, in my opinion, for Mercedes and Trinity to be like, hey, if the guy that supported us and what we did is willing to give him another chance, hey, maybe things are different. And look, Trinity, she has her husband over there, and her husband can validate everything people are saying. That, yeah, things are different. Yeah, Punk might be back, and many people may not like him being back, but you know what? You know, but hey, if he can, swallow his pride and this company and some people can swallow their pride and work together, then hey, it definitely shows that things have gotten better in the long run. Because let's be honest, if you think, CM Punk would have come back last year if given the opportunity, that wouldn't have happened because Vince still had say. Yeah, Vince had to temporarily retire because of the allegations and everything, but Punk was smart enough to realize, yeah, that guy's not going to stay gone forever. But as soon as that sale got, announced, that potential sale to whoever, in this case Endeavor, to form to eventually, sell a majority of WWE, and to some other conglomerate, like I said, as we found out later on, that being Endeavor, and thus forming the TKO group, you know, I'm sure when they heard that, possibilities went through their minds like, hey, things might get better. Things might get better. Now, true, they probably thought, well, maybe they won't get better because, they're hearing news that Ari Emanuel and Vince are good friends, and, sometimes that's not a good sign. But over time, I think they're starting to notice that, hey, maybe we were wrong. I mean, I told you myself. I was one of those people here on the internet, here on YouTube, that came out and told you myself that Ari Emanuel is the kind of guy that's going to put people in a position to where they're gonna benefit him. They're going to be utilized in the best way possible. And if he's going to make Vince McMahon, an executive chairman or co-executive chairman in Endeavor, if he's going to do that, if you will, as I check my time here for a second, if he's going to do that, then there's no way Vince is going to have time whatsoever to do any creative pull or anything, or creative, pushing and everything. It's going to fall on Triple H. And guess what? That's exactly what's happened. It's fallen on Triple H. And Ari Emanuel and the board have pretty much given Triple H 99.9% of that control, of that power. Well, Vince barely has that little 0.1%. And probably even less. It's now probably it's probably a point, 0.01%, if you will. That's probably what it is. It's probably now a 0.01%, lesser than what he had. But the thing is, you're seeing all this, and you're realizing, and if you're someone like Sasha Banks, Mercedes Mone and Trinity, Naomi, and you're seeing the guy that, supported you and what you did walking back into WWE, that that has to be a huge sign. That has to be a huge plus sign for you to be like, oh, things are better. Maybe I can go back now and not have to worry about the boogeyman, Vince McMahon, sticking his fingers in where they don't belong. So to me, this is just another sign. CM Punk returning is just another sign of, of Triple H hopefully getting his hands, hopefully re-signing Mercedes and Trinity when the time comes, when Trinity's contract is up with Impact TNA, and when Mercedes is healed up from injuries to get back in the ring. Now, look, I agree. Tony Khan will do his best to get them, but I think in the end, just like with Punk, Triple H is going to be the one that, gets them to come back in because of the change. And CM Punk return pretty much validates that.